everyone, just a short video for one of my clients that has been told by her chiropractor that she needs to do a few glute activation exercises. So she came to me to ask what would be best for her. Now she is pregnant, so I'm not going to do any exercises where I'm laying on my tummy, although there are loads in that position if you think of swimming, where we lift our legs up, opening the front of the hip and working the bottom. So we're going to focus on some side lying exercises like clam and side kick. But actually, first of all, I'm going to start you standing, and we're going to work on some squats, which are one of the best exercises you can do for your pelvic floor and strengthening your whole body really, but it really does get into your glutes. So as always, we are thinking about having our feet about hip distance apart, and this is my friend Juliet's cue here, it works really well. You think of a dirty loo behind you and a broken door. So you're hovering your bum above that dirty loo and you're reaching because you don't want anyone to walk in on you. And then we come on up. Down on the inhale and up on the exhale. Now what I'm thinking about whilst hovering over that dirty loo is there's no weight in my toes here, because that's going to just shift us into the wrong position if you've got the weight forwards. So it's bum back, arms forwards, and I'd probably go for about 20 of these. At the top, I'm not clenching my bum. I often hear teachers talking about, and really clench when you lift. All that happens then is you're kind of overworking the muscles and you're creating tension. If you think of how your muscles work just day to day, so you go from sitting on the sofa to standing up, you don't think, right, I'm going to activate the muscles in my feet, my ankles, my calves, my quads, my hamstrings. You don't think about that. It just happens. So let us think about just taking yourself into this position and then standing up tall. Let's go for a few more. So we're thinking about the back not rounding. You're not sort of going down and tucking your pelvis under you. Your back is just in the shape it's normally in when you're standing up. And then to deepen this exercise, you can take it down and just do some pulses. So it's very controlled. I've still got no weight in my toes here. Arms are still reaching. Just go for a couple more of these and stand up. So you'll feel everything's working on that move. Another move that's really good is a lunge, and what happens, we're not letting your more dominant side take over in this position. We really work ourselves out equally. So I've got a long stance, covering quite a good length of my mat, and then I lunge, and then I stand tall. So also what I'm getting is this deep stretch through the front of the hip, but I'm really working the bottom of the leg that's in front, that side of the bottom. And again, I go for about 10 or so of these. Just breathing as you go. Because again, if we're breathing correctly, also that's helping our pelvic floor work really functionally. And we're just going to go for 2 more of these, please. And then depending on how you're feeling, you take it down and go for some pulses here. Just a few. Really listening to your body always, more than ever if you're pregnant, and come on up. So there's never any pain in these exercises. Let's just switch sides. So yes, we get burning muscles in Pilates, but if you've ever got any joint pain, that's really, don't go there. Give me a shout, we can talk through any of the exercises that don't feel right for you. So we just go again, about 10 each side. The foot that's behind, I want you to always make sure the toes are facing forwards. It's quite easy for those toes to start drifting out to the side of the room, but you want toes, both feet facing forwards. Give me a couple more here. Take it down, and again, we just pulse here. And it's not a bounce, it's a deliberate lift and lower. Just a few more, please. I wish I hadn't turned the heating on here this morning. And come on up. So that's really lovely just to get the glutes activated in a standing position. Now, we can go for our clam. So you can prop yourself up on your forearm, or you could lay down. If, when the bump's getting bigger, as I say she's pregnant, you could wrap your hand, your arm around you, Charlotte, and kind of scoop your hand underneath so the bump isn't just hanging. Obviously I don't have a bump here, so I'm just going to have my hand on the floor. Now I've got my feet, knees and hips stacked, and then I just lift that top knee up and I lower it down. So as I lift it up, again, I'm not squeezing my glutes, but I feel the work is in that tiny last bit of the movement. At that end range of movement is when I've really got my hips working. So again, I go for about 10 of these, each side. So you feel your thigh bone is spinning backwards, but we're trying not to let the pelvis roll all over the place. So yes, there'll be some movement there. I don't ever want you to be rigid, but you're not lifting the leg and everything rolls back, because otherwise all we're doing is rolling on our mat. So just a couple more here. And then you could add some pulses. Again, listening to your body, just doing what feels right for you, especially as the pregnancy goes on. But straight away, I really feel the hip working on that side. And then I take it down. Obviously, we would spin round and do the other side. So, think, knuckles of the big toes together, knees together, hips aligned, up to you where your arm placement is. And then just 10. So I'm trying to keep my toes together. I'm trying to keep any tension out of my shoulders and my neck. It's quite easy to grip on in these positions and not even realise. And again, just thinking about letting the breath flow now. Just go for a few more here. Remembering the work is in that last little bit of the movement. You almost feel a squeeze, but I don't want you to squeeze. The squeeze happens just by spinning this thigh bone upwards. Last one, please. Take it up and just pulse and breathe and don't tense the shoulders. Just a couple more, please. And then we release. Now, early on in the pregnancy, you're still okay to lie on your back. You wouldn't want to be laying on your back too long as you go later into the pregnancy. So really, again, listening to your body, you don't want to feel faint. So early days in the pregnancy, you're okay to come into this bridge position where my knees and feet are just about as wide as my cheekbones. So your hips are much narrower than you think. So I press my arms down, my neck is long. I'm letting my back just fall into its comfortable position, and I'm going to keep my ribcage activated rather than letting it flare out. And then I'm just going to lift up to my bridge, and then I lower halfway down. And as I lift up, what I'm thinking about, so just keep going, I'm thinking about my knees not flaring out to the side of the room. So my kneecaps face up. And actually, if you're at home doing this, grab a cushion off of your sofa, tuck it in between your knees, and squeeze on it. So I'm just doing a few of these. Up to you how many you do. Obviously, the more you do, the stronger your bottom muscles are going to become. But again, just listen to your body. Don't overdo it. I'm an extremist. I always go, I'm either all or nothing. I go hard when I do it, but that's not always the best way. Just give me a few more, please. So again, feeling that squeeze, that contraction when you're at the top of the move. And we hold it up here, and I'm just going to do some small high pulses. So rib cage still pulled in, arms pressing down, your neck is long. Just a couple more, please. And then melt your spine down. At the bottom, just hug your knees in, have a gentle rock. And then you help yourself up. And we're going to go for some side lying. So definitely, if you want to do more of these, absolutely you can. Side lying, again, long arm, bent arm. You can prop yourself up, whatever works for you. I'm going to have the bottom leg bent, top leg long. Again, think about the pelvis staying quite quiet here. Flexing your foot, kicking forwards, pointing your toes, taking it back. So there, the bum's working. Kick forwards and back. So again, it's like what the leg does in that swimming move that we do when we're laying on our tummy, that isn't going to be accessible as the pregnancy goes on. So just a few of these, flexing and pointing, pelvic stability, but not rigid. And I'm going to finish with my leg behind this time, and I'm going to circle the leg behind. So I'm thinking about this top hip not moving, The leg lengthening, feel like I've got your ankle, I'm pulling your leg longer. And then change direction, please. Woo, tougher this way for me. You can see I'm a bit more wobbly. But you're trying to circle behind, because if you're circling in front, you're not working the bum. Just a couple more, please. And then to let it release, just let that knee fall forwards. Give your bum a rub if you wish. But when you're here, you can add pulses, small high pulses with a pointed toe or a flex foot. Just play with the move. We've probably done a lot of these variations in class before. Spinning around to do the other side. Again, when the bump gets bigger, if you want to gather your arm around and hold it up so it's not just hanging down, that's fine. I flex, kick forwards, I point, take it back. So again, feel like I've got your ankle. I'm pulling your leg longer, but this top hip bone is quiet. And we let the rib cage move a little bit when we're here. It's not out of control, but as I kick my leg forwards, I feel like I'm pressing the back of the rib cage into the back of my t-shirt. And then as I take it back, I just let the breastbone press into the front of my t-shirt, a small amount. Give me one more. Finishing with it behind, and I'm circling. So again, the circles are about the size of a dinner plate on the table. Always thinking about food. That's me, and you probably are as well if you're pregnant. Couple more, please. And then change direction. And just notice, is it easier on this leg? Do you feel tighter? Does it feel quite balanced? Just noticing all these little, this bit of feedback our body's always giving us, but we don't always listen just because we're rushing around. And then again, you could do your points and pulses, or your flex and pulses. Play about with the move. Okay, have a release. And then I'm going to turn you onto a hands and knees position. Again, really good position actually for getting the baby into the right position. So it just turns it nicely. In your 4-point kneeling position, your fingers are wide. You feel like you're pressing the mat away from you and your knees are about hip distance apart. Just take your leg long and then we lift it and we lower it. And we lift, again, you're in that swimming position. There's a lot of repetition in Pilates, but in different positions, just so we target different muscles. I don't know how many muscles there are in the hip, I can't remember, but there's a lot more than you'd think. And you hold it up at the top and we just do some pulses here. Small and high. Note my leg's not bending, I'm really strong through that leg. And then again, you could do circles. I've got a class in, so I'm not going to do too many. And you'd circle the other way, and you could pulse. Again, play with it. I'm going to bend that knee, and then I'm going to cock it out to the side. And then I lower. So if you think how a dog were to cock its leg up against a tree, I know that's not the nicest of thoughts, but that really works into the outside of the hip muscle. So a couple more here, please. And then release it down. And press yourself into rest position. Give your bum a bit of a wiggle out. You can give your wrists a bit of a break. But all of this weight bearing on the wrist is really fantastic. So try to bear with it. Okay, other leg long and lift and a small lower. So again, noticing the difference one side of the body to the other. For me, I'm so much tighter in the front of this left hip. Oh, I struggle to lift the leg as high. Just a couple more, please. Are we still thinking about, hold it there, just give me some pulses. I want you to think about gathering the baby, if you're pregnant and you're joining me, and gathering your ribcage up towards you and not just hanging out here. And then again, I bend my knee and I cock it out to the side. And you want to think about the outside of the knee and the outside of the ankle lifting the same height. So your leg's still in a parallel position. It's not spinning inwards or outwards. And again, add some pulses here if you wish. But think about pressing both hands away from the mat, keeping strong through those arms. Take it down. Give your bum a bit of a wiggle as you press back to rest position. Obviously, if you're preggers, your knees are going to be wider there to allow room for your bump. And think about your breath in rest position. Breathing in, feeling the back of the ribcage expand and the sides and the front. And then exhale, just sink deeper into your stretch. And again, breathe in fully for me. And exhale completely. And rebuild your spine. And hopefully you've felt your bottom muscles and your hip muscles working hard in those exercises. If you've got any questions, just give me a shout. I am always here to help.